Before I get into today's episode, I just want to let you guys know that it is sponsored by Audible. So Audible, it's the number one place to get audiobooks, and they'll actually give you 2 free audiobooks. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below. You'll get a free 30-day trial for Audible, so definitely click that link, check it out. It's a good site. I use it. I like to listen to audiobooks while I watch film, so definitely a very good thing. It's a subscription service, but you get the first 30 days free, and they even send you an email right before the trial ends to make sure that you want to continue or not. So it's easy to quit if you don't like it, but click on the link below, check that out if that's something you're interested in. Also, you can just go to the website Audible Trial or www.audibletrial.com/JKS. So check that out. And anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video. That's right, another Raiders video coming at you. I mean, listen, if you guys keep watching the Raiders videos, I'm going to keep making them. And so this time it's going to be Alec Ingold is the guy I'm going to be talking about. He's the fullback, and he's a very good fullback, I think. Very good fullback for the Raiders. And I like making the occasional fullback breakdown because they don't really get a lot of credit, but I think it's very fascinating what they do. It is a very important piece of an offense. I mean, some offenses only even use fullbacks, but other offenses, it's a huge part of their offense. So I like to make some fullback breakdowns from time to time, and I think Ingold is a very good player. Like, let's take a look at this play, for example. This is going to be a pretty traditional fullback type block. What's going to happen is that the center and then the right guard are going to be double teaming an interior lineman. Then the guard moves up to block a linebacker. You also have Trent Brown, their right tackle. He's going to be blocking another Indianapolis player, meaning that Ingold can then sort of run in between them. He takes out the other linebacker, and this is an advantage with a fullback because it can help take away those guys at the mid-level like that. And so watch what Ingold is going to do, and sort of watch how, again, he's going to have to just lower his shoulder and deliver a hit. So that's the first part. Is you have to deliver that blow, but it's kind of a two-step process, where first you have to deliver that hit, similar to how you would if there was a pass rusher coming in, you're a halfback, where you just kind of deliver that one hit. But then you have to get your hands up and try to finish off the block too. So there's 2 parts to this. But you see how right now he is able to get his hands up like that as well, which allows him to push the linebacker even further to the right and allow his halfback to pick up a solid gain on that one. Again, that's just a good block. It's a good complete block. He did every step of that block very well. So that's one thing a fullback can do. A fullback can just give you an extra blocker just like that. But there's really many things a fullback can do, and this is another example of it, where what's going to happen is that so it's going to be kind of similar at first, where you have the right guard and then the right tackle. They're going to be doing a double team. Then you have a tight end, just have a one-on-one matchup. Brown gets off the double team, moves up to block a linebacker. That's the way this play is supposed to work. So then for Ingold, he basically can really have his choice between those 2 Indianapolis players. It'll probably be the linebacker, but maybe the defensive back, just whoever gets in the area quicker, who then he has to block. That's who he's going to end up blocking. That's the way this play is designed. However, something's going to go wrong here. An Indianapolis player does a pretty good job of reading this play, and he's going to get to the inside of Brown, which now means that for Ingold, I mean, you see him, he's getting ready to move over to the right, but now he just notices that if he runs over and blocks somebody else, well, now there's going to be an Indianapolis player who can make a tackle on Jacobs quicker. But despite the fact that he's off balance, he's able to completely shift his body weight over and still deliver a pretty brutal blow, and that allows him to pick up a little bit more yards. Again, it's not a crazy play, but that's just one of the advantages of having a fullback and having an intelligent fullback like Ingold who can make those reads quickly. It's the kind of thing where, having a fullback like that just has an extra advantage than if you're just having an offensive lineman move up and block. Because, typically in this situation, let's just say you didn't have the fullback there and there was one less Indianapolis player you had to worry about, then there would be no extra thing to help you out. The linebacker would have ran in and we've made a quicker tackle. So having a fullback has a lot of value, and also having a fullback like Ingold, who can make these reads quickly, that makes it even more valuable. One thing he can do as well is really move anywhere. He can go to any side of the field. He can go all the way to the outside, like a play like this. His job is to run all the way over to block that Indianapolis player right over there. He's got a lot of room to run. But again, after the ball is snapped, he gets there quickly. And also, again, look at how he delivers this. I mean, there's just so much power right here, where the Indianapolis player, he actually, look at how wide his feet are. He's basically just letting Ingold push him back, because if he tries to lower the shoulder, it's going to end poorly and he's going to get hurt and possibly even injured. Because of that, the power, he's able to just continue pushing him. And that's just, again, one of the crazy things about some of these fullbacks, and Ingold especially, is just how powerful of a human he is. I mean, he's 6'1" and 240 pounds. So, he's a lot of muscle packed into 6'1" isn't short by normal human standards, but you compare that to some of these offensive linemen, it's definitely not it's definitely on the shorter side. But having that much muscle built in, especially the leg muscle, it really does come in handy on those types of plays. I also really like this play where what's going to happen is that there's supposed to be 2 double teams right here, and then what happens is that Ingold can simply just block the other Charger player in the area, and then Richard can run up, follow him and run through that gap. But what ends up happening right here is that one of this double team isn't going to work. Actually, they both don't really work super well, but one of them especially isn't going to work. And so at this point, you look at it, and Ingold, he has a dilemma. I mean, there's 2 Charger players in the gap that he's supposed to run towards, and he doesn't notice at the time, but his halfback behind him is going to just choose a different gap, which makes sense. But what I like about this is watch what Ingold is going to do, and watch how he kind of just takes on both of those guys right there. That was a pretty great block, as it would have allowed them to gain at least a couple of yards had, the back followed him in that area, which was what the play was designed for. Again, didn't end up mattering, and it was the right decision. They probably gained a couple more yards by Richard doing that. But again, just a good play by Ingold, I think, taking on multiple guys sometimes. While typically he will just be in the traditional fullback position, every now and then you can have him out wide, like not out wide, but have him right here where he can, just block somebody on the edge. And he can do this pretty well too. I mean, he's going up against a defensive back, but he has the footwork where he's able to make sure he always stays in position where he's able to make this block. So again, that's not something that maybe you think about with a fullback in terms of someone who has footwork and can move around like that. Usually you just think of fullback as a strong guy who can run straight into people, but no, in this situation, I mean, he can have the footwork as well. He's not just a guy who is fast and isn't afraid to run face first into somebody. He has all facets of the game, which is, I think it's why he's a huge part of this Raiders offense. And it also really comes in handy on certain other plays. Like right here on this play, they don't do this too often, but they'll do this every now and then, where it's going to be a passing play to Ingold, where they're going to have him, he's going to basically just run out to this side. I actually think they should do this more often. But again, because he is such a good blocker, and he keeps them honest, now when he runs to the outside, he's able to get open relatively easily, and he gets the touchdown. Again, just a very good play, and it's the kind of thing where it's mostly set up due to his good blocking, but hey, I mean, every now and then he can run out and run a route pretty well as well, and I think they should probably do that a bit more often. Maybe they will next year, now that they have more pieces of the total offense, they can sort of use him more as a weapon, but either way, I think that just with his blocking ability alone, he has a ton of value for the Raiders, and he's one of the better fullbacks in the league. I don't think he's the best, but he's up there. He's probably like a top 5 fullback, I would say. Granted, plenty of teams don't have fullbacks, or when they do have a fullback, it's just a tight end who can double as a fullback. But either way, I do think that he definitely adds a lot of value there, in my opinion. I mean, everyone loves to talk about the quarterbacks or the halfbacks, the wide receivers. Fullbacks are people too. And listen, if you're going to pay Trent Brown all that money, for him to block one guy, well, sometimes he blocks 2, but you can also, why not spend that kind of money on someone like Ingold, who can also, you spend way less money on him, and he can, I'm not going to say he's better, but he can still add a ton of value, and it doesn't cost much. Fullbacks don't cost much, so there's definitely some money ball stuff going on there as well. And I also think, this Jon Gruden offense, it's an offense that is not afraid to, use some power running sometimes, and a fullback really helps with that power running. And again, like I said, Ingold, he has so much power himself, and he can help with that kind of running style that there's a lot of value there, and I think he's a really good player. So what do you guys think? I'll ask 2 questions. One, what do you think of Ingold? But the other one is going to be, what do you think of the fullback position as a whole? Do you think that more teams should have fullbacks? Do you think fullback is a waste of a player? I think fullbacks can have a ton of value. I think they're very underrated. That's just my opinion. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.